Hello, everyone. Good morning to all of you. We're going to be starting in a couple of minutes as many other attendees are joining the room. Wait for us for a few minutes. So let's start with the basic. What is Customily? Most of you installed the app quite recently and are either getting started with your store from scratch or beginning the process of setting personalizable products on an existing store. For both cases, we have the perfect tools to get started. So, Customily is an app that provides your store with live previews of products, along with options that your customers can interact with, changing those live previews with every interaction. From text typing to clip art selection or image upload, your preview will change live and give you a realistic example of how your customization will look on the product. For example, in this case, we're going to type something and see how it previews, or something like this. See, you input text and the live preview will change. At the same time, another example we can show here is the same text typing, but also we have the chance to change the size and upload photos. This particular design actually loads the photo with the shape of the letters. We can type anything. We can change quotes, and we can also change the colors of the background if you were to do. Now this preview is done by loading a template on the page, as well as the options, and these two elements are created in Customily. If you follow the steps of creating a template from scratch, you'll be able to create the options automatically and connect them to any of your existing products. As simple as that. So what is this? This is our latest update for Shopify stores, which allows you to create and publish personalized products easier, faster, and better than before. Those starting your stores from scratch will have more interest in this section because now you can choose a product directly from a print-on-demand supplier, add a design to it, and get it published in your Shopify store, all from Customily app. Also, with the print-on-demand services that have an API connection, all the fulfillment processes will be automated. This means that once you receive a purchase, all the order details and the ready-to-print file will be sent to the corresponding POD provider automatically for fulfillment and shipping. Another interesting feature for Shopify users is the free access to Customily's design libraries. This means you can find designs ready to use and sell, or you can use this exclusive clip art collection to create your own art. So we can say that there are 4 different paths you can explore with Customily 2.0. You can work with a print-on-demand provider who has its own product catalog and add a design from Customily's library to it. This is the fastest path, the one that allows you to have published products ready to sell in minutes. You can work with a print-on-demand provider, but choose to add your own designs to their product. In this case, you will have to populate your design library before being able to publish products in your store. On the other hand, if you have your own products and are not interested in working with a print-on-demand provider, the way to go is to start by populating your product-based library first. After you have your own product mockups, you can choose to add a design from Customily's library to those products and create and publish them faster. Or you can, of course, add your own designs to your own products. This is the path that involves more time, but once you have all your product mockups and all your designs set up, it's just a mix and match game, and you'll be able to create and launch new products in seconds. Imagine I am a Shopify store owner. I want to start selling personalized products and just install Customily to try it out. Here we are in the main menu of Customily. You can see at the left bar that we have 6 sections. The first 3 sections are shortcuts to the 2.0 tools. The other 3 sections are the main core of Customily. You can explore, manage, and create your templates, upload and organize your assets in libraries. It can be colors, fonts, vectors, and images. And you can see all your connected products in the store section, as well as change many settings that will help you customize the front end experience of your customers. We're going to start creating products now. But before we continue, I would like to know if there are any questions regarding what is Customily and what is Customily 2.0. Excellent. Okay, let's start off in the start section. From here, you will have access to print-on-demand providers, design libraries, and product mockups. What we're going to do today is create a product using a POD. So I'm going to select, for example, Printify. And since we're going to be creating a canvas, I can browse through the different products that the Printify catalog has and look for the canvas. Now we want to have a gallery canvas horizontal frame, these wraps. And you see when you click here, you get the print provider and you get the variants available for that print provider. We can choose the depth, which has only one option. We can choose to present this in 2 different frame colors, black and walnut. And these particular sizes, we're going to pick some of them. I would like to have some horizontal designs. So I'll probably go for the standards, this one, maybe this one, yeah, and this one, okay? And we're going to click next to go to the next step and see that here we are going to choose the design. If I want here and I go to pick from Customily designs, I'll see all our available designs or categories to choose from. I can pick all to see the list of available categories and check out how many designs we are actually presented with. We have graduations, we have theme related with mothers, fathers, children, grandmas. We have dates like Halloween or St. Patrick's, Valentine's. We have season related and some specific like puzzles. We have, for example, also greeting cards. There's a lot of designs that you can explore with. But if you recall, we are looking to create our own particular design for our father. So I'm going to pick from my designs, but I don't have the designs yet. I need to create a design. So we're going to go to the shortcut here, My Designs. As you can see, I can open a second tab and keep this process undergoing with the product selected from Printify, from the variants already selected, and all I have to do is open another tab to go straight to My Designs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new design. So I'm going to click here. Let's name this design as live session that canvas. So we know this is a design that's going to involve the dot letters. So I'm going to create this design, and I start off in a square proportion to start my design. Now this is the most common way to start, having a square design that can fit anything in particular, any t-shirt, any mug or tumbler, but in particular, since we know we're going to be working on landscape proportions, we can actually change this canvas. And if I recall correctly, I selected 3 different sizes, and Customily will into those print sizes later when the template is created. I can actually pick the big one, and then Customily will just resize for the other print files. What I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this, select inches, and type the biggest one that I selected, that was 48 by 32. Okay, now we edit, and now we have the proportions. Later on, we may have other sizes selected. Just keep in mind that if you have a landscape design and you pretend this to go into a portrait product, it's going to show in the center with blank spaces on top and below. So be careful to either work with square designs that you can adapt, or craft your designs based on at least the proportion of the products you're going to be creating. So let's start creating this. If you recall the example, yes, you see, we have a background that you can change the color, and you have letters that you can put image inside. We have a quote, we have a final message, and the customizable names. That's what we're going to be creating. For that, let's go back here and check out a bit of this. Okay, this is this is the design studio of Customily, and you can check how many tools and what many things we have to play with. For example, we can create text boxes. It's going to create a text that we can type anything we want. Okay, we can create curved texts as well. Image placeholders or vector placeholders are objects that your customers will be able to upload their own images. Also, we have map tools, and now we have brand new star map tools. We're going to be dedicating a live session to this new brand new tool. And finally, we have dynamic images and dynamic vectors, which are objects in which you can upload your own files that will be showed on the front end. Not your customers, but yourself. And I'm going to take advantage of these two, and I'm going to create a dynamic vector. The reason I created a dynamic vector instead of a dynamic image is because I want to upload a background that can be changed colors. And we do that using an EPS file. The EPS file is as simple as a white rectangle that you export from any design software into an EPS format. Then you come here in Customily and you upload that EPS. The cool thing about vectors is that vectors can be set to full color or can be set to single color. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to open the vector mode here and see that we have either full color or single color. When we select single color, we can actually select the color we want to showcase at the beginning, or want to pick a library full of colors, or we can create a color picker that's going to be done later in the options. So I'm going to go for a particular color that I use for my mockup. I think it was something like this. I'm memorizing, so keep in mind. Yeah, excellent. And we need to resize this to fit the entire design. So what I'm going to do to save time is go to transform and just type in the width and the height of the entire canvas that we created, that is 48 by 32. So now we have a background. We can open the layers tab here, and we can drag this all the way down and call this a background color. This will have a specific ID that is very important that we remember this. I'm probably going to start in order so we can change that ID and be able to reference that. So just to remember the order of things. This is going to be the ID number 1. Text, which is going to be later used, is going to be for the quote. We're going to call this just going to be number 4 or 5. But I think it's important to go in the order of how you're going to be customizing this. So if I'm going to create these letters, let me go straight to the image placeholder. Okay, so this is an image placeholder. I can actually try with an image while designing. This is just for trying, so it's not going to be saved. But I can actually click on this and see how the image loads. Obviously, this image has a different proportion, so it's going to show like that. We have a square box, and this is a landscape image. There's a way in which we can fill the entire box if we want to keep the box as a square. And for that, we need to open the image behavior tab. We can actually control if we want this to have grayscale effect. We have this single color effect for engraving, maybe, but full color is what we want. And fill area is the tool we're going to be clicking to fill out this and making sure that the shortest dimension of the file goes and match the biggest dimension of the box. Now this is still a square, and we are not being able to shape this like a D. The reason for that is because we need to upload a mask. And what is a mask? A mask is just a black and white file with a specific shape. And you say, okay, that's really complex. Actually, it's not that complex at all. For example, I just use my design software, and I typed a letter. I turned that into a vector, into a line element, and came up with this. This is just a D without the hole. And all I did was to paint that in black and have a white background. So Customily will understand a mask as the black area is where the image shows, and the white area is where the image doesn't show. Like this. So I can go back here and I can upload a mask, for example, the D, just to get that shape. This can be a heart, this can be a circle, anything you want, as long as it is black and white. Now that I have this, I could actually copy. I can say Control-C, Control-V to copy the second letter. Yeah, I can actually name this. I'm going to name this so I don't get lost. This is going to be let's call this something that's going to show up later on the front end. You see here we have an option that says upload the first D photo. So if we type that on the layer, Customily will rename this and save you a lot of time. So I'm going to call this upload left D photo. Yeah. Now this one should be upload a photo. And we're going to open the image behavior, and we're going to change the mask and to upload a new mask, which is going to be the A. There you go. And then we're going to paste again. Remember, we have this object copy. We're going to paste this as a new object. That is going to be number 4. And that is going to be the right D. Right D. Okay, now all we need to do is to align all these elements. Right? For example, I can just put them one next to the other and select all 3. Make sure they're aligned one in all together like that. And we can actually click and reference this to the workspace and center. So now we have everything looking perfect. We can always grab this 3 and just click on the arrows to move that around. We're going to resize this later. But so far, so good. We have the letters. Can actually, let's do this a bit. Just like that. Now we need to create the quote. And while I'm going to teach you a really cool trick for the quote. You see the quote here has 4 different messages. And when I click on this selector, the quote changes. Now, ideally, you may be thinking, okay, this is probably an image of the quote, and all I'm doing here is changing images like we are familiar with when using Customily. We create a dynamic image, we upload the 4 quotes, and that's it. But having an image with the letters, it's complicated because imagine you find a typo, or you want to add another one, or you want to change the wording. It's going to take some time to edit the photo and the image and upload that again to Customily. The best way to go is to have this quote to be a text. And if you have this as a text, you can always put information on the text and don't have your customers be able to change that. And this is the trick that I'm going to teach you today: how to put all these, how to set up these text elements and change them all together with a drop down, but not using images. So first thing first, we're going to create a text box like that. Okay, so now we have a text box, and let me see which one. I have my notes here to see what kind of font I picked for this. I believe it was called Dancing Script. Okay, and obviously this is really small, so all I have to do is play around with the sizes. Remember, this is how we want. This is showing in 50, but it could go all the way down to 15, which is really small and unprintable. So it's important that you set up a maximum size so it can show, and a minimum size that will still work as long as you keep typing. I'm going to set this to, for example, 250. Yeah, now it's looking, but I don't want this to go any smaller because we're going to put some specific text. Now let's present an example. Very important, we need to trigger this automatic multi-line because we want to have 2 lines of text. That's what's showing here. And I have the quotes already prepared for you like this. So I'm just going to pick one of them and test it out here. Okay, this is looking nice. We can center this and see how this fits in the whole design. We can also try another one. I don't recall if this one was the longest one, just to see if everything is fitting. You see, this is not fitting perfectly, so either we need to stretch this a bit and make it sure it fits. The same goes with the other. But now that we have like the final size of this box, we are going to be adjusting some alignments here to have space for the rest of the content. So we need to push this a bit up. We're going to shrink this a bit, not that much, but like that. Okay. And we have space here to add the other 2 text elements. The first text element, if you recall, is going to align this a bit. Okay. The other text elements are the love, which is like the final message, and then the custom names. So we're going to create a text box. This one is the text one is this text file is the quotes. And we're going to create 2 more text elements. The first text element is going to be love, basically. We're going to test that. Okay, same font. So we're going to look for the Dancing Script font, just smaller because it's not this big. It's a bit smaller. It's like this. This looks nice. Yeah. So there's a lot of space that we don't need. We're just going to put it like this and like this. Okay, perfect. So this is the final message here. And we need the same, but actually a bit lower. So we're going to, again, actually copy this and paste to have another text element here that is actually going to be longer, like that. And well, we don't want this to be center. We actually like the effect of starting off on the right. And these are, we call this type your name. So type your name, or can be 1 or can be more than 1, depending. So we're going to call that. We need to actually adjust this a bit because we are kind of in the edge. Let me check our design to see how it's looking. Let's check with the last one. Yeah, seems a bit like this. This is separated like that. We can play around and check out how all things look. But I believe these ones are still a bit big. So we're going to adjust this and then move this up. And these 2 will be a bit like this. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so now that we're satisfied with this design, we are all set to go to save it and go straight to the product. check out the alignment and everything in all the objects, and we are good to go. Once a design is saved, remember you get to see the options for that design, and those options will be later created for the final product. So if we are to change the options somehow inside of the main option set of the design, we'll make sure that every product created with this design will have the same options that we want them customized. And we want them customized because we want to select the quote. So we have one text element and we want to put a lot of information and a lot of quote options inside that text element. So let's go to the design. Let's click on live session at canvas, but let's click on options and see what options we have available. First, we have the upload left the photo. Then we have the upload a photo and the upload right the photo. Each one of these image uploads can be edited, so we have a minimum width and height, and customers cannot upload really low quality images. You can control this and make sure that the final print file is in really high quality. Also, about all things that you can personalize, I like this, that you can change the button text to something like upload. So I'm just going to change that on all three. Okay, and then we have this text input. Remember that love is a text input that we don't want to change. We want this to always be love because it's a fixed text. So I'm just going to come here and make sure that this message love is loaded initially as an initial value. So when we load the template and we load the options and we start customizing, the word love, comma, will be there as an initial value, like something that a customer actually types, but we type for them. And we don't want this to be changed by any customer. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide this option. And now it's no longer available for a customer to customize. They will always see the love message. If you don't type anything here, nothing will show on the front end. And you cannot change that because it's hidden. So with this same logic of hiding a text input with a specific text, we're going to do the same with the quotes. First of all, we need to type the name. Yeah, this is working perfectly. We can suggest a name or not, and set a number of characters, like 20. 20 seems like a nice length for characters. Okay, let's work with the quotes. Remember, we have 4 quotes. So what would be the best way to select these 4 quotes? Remember that we can show one quote here. Yeah, we could actually find our first quote, copy that, put it in the initial value. We make it this text area so we can have 2 lines. We're going to make this show. Perfect. That's all we need. And we hide this so customers will not be able to change that. Let's identify this like that. But what about the other quotes? Well, it's always the same text input. It's always the same object. So we could have the same option 4 times, right? We could actually clone this 4 times. Yeah, sorry, 3 times more to have the other quotes. And I can find this one and open the second one, change this label, change this initial value. As you know, this is already hidden because we cloned it, so everything is exactly as the first one. We are also the reference to the object. Remember, our text is number 5 in the template. So this content will be sent to that particular text element. We're going to repeat the same process, this, and with the last one. Next week, we're going to have a live session dedicated to performing really tricky and interesting things with the options. But this is kind of the intermediate level one we are dealing today. We have 4 text inputs referenced to the same object with 4 different initial values. This means these are our quotes. Now, how do we choose these quotes? Very simple. We need to create an option to choose from them. Yeah, this is the new option. Obviously, this new option is not a text input. It's going to be either a swatch or an upload or any of these options, but we want to have this to be a dropdown. And we're going to call this select quote. Okay. Now this is a selection that is completely empty. Why? Because it has no values, no dropdown values. We need to add 4 values. In these 4 values, we're going to put the quotes. So we start with this. In the last one, I'm going to start with this. 3. And we have 2. Sometimes quotes are quite long, so we want the final phrase to be a surprise. So what I suggest is, so no matter how many we get, and that's what you display. Okay, and the same goes this other, and the same goes like this and like this. Yeah, so this is just a text for selecting, and then depending on what you select, let's select this by default. Depending what you select, these ones should show up. So this quote selection should be up after the image upload. We're going to click, hold, and drag all the way up like this. Now, first you select the quote, and then these 4 will appear. How do we tell these 4 to appear? With something we call condition. We can add conditions to have options show or hide depending what we select. Now this is hidden for the customer to modify or to type on that, but you can still show the initial value. So we're going to condition this to show when the select quote is the first one. Yeah, and this will be the same logic. Select quote the second one. This one will be select quote the third one, and this one will be select quote the fourth one. What is this telling Customily? That whenever this select quote drop down is selected, is this choice selected, this particular text input will show with this initial value inside this text element, but you cannot change it. And that's how you trick the system, and you use the Customily tools to present a quote selector that has text inside. And the beauty of this is that later you can add more as many quotes as you want. You can change wording. You can do anything really fast without having to upload images. Finally, one thing that you don't see here, because we never added options, is the color of the background. If we had added a library full of colors, we would see here a swatch selection to change colors of the vector. But we didn't. We set this to be single color without nothing else. And that allows us to create a color picker with all possible colors in that vector. How do we do that? We add a new option. And in those options, we have the color picker. Color picker is just a box like this that will reference to a specific object on the template. I'm going to call this select background color. Yeah, background color. And we're not going to start on black. Black is the default color, will not be black. It's going to be that that beige we created. Yeah. And very important, right now this color picker has been created. We're going to see that color picker on the front end, but how do we make sure it's controlling the right vector in the template? By adding the function. We need to set this to have a function, to have a dynamic vector color. It was number 1. Remember, it was the first one we created. And now Customily knows that whatever color you pick will change this object in particular. So now that we are all set up, let's save this. And questions so far? Okay, let me show you quickly where are you going to be personalizing the names. Let me go back to the edit options, because someone asked where are you going to be personalizing the names, the signature. That's here in the type your name. So because type your names is not hidden, it will show a text field. It has no initial value, no placeholder, nothing. It has a length of characters defined. This will show on the front end as a text input that will allow you to type in names. The other text fields are hidden because they are fixed values. But whenever you don't have an initial value and things are not hidden, and of course the function is the text number 7, that will allow you to input the names of the children in that particular text field. But I'm going to show you live, because now that we have the design and we have our options crafted the way we want, we can go to start. And remember, we created a new product here. We went through all the steps of Printify all the way down to this. This is a process we started already. We can pick the designs, and in the last page, we're going to find this one. Let's do that again, just so we have everything fresh up in our memories. Create new product, Printify, find the canvas, pick the horizontal frame. For this provider, we're going to pick this one, and yeah, this one. Two colors for the frame. Next, and in our designs, this is the one we created. We're going to put this on my store, yeah, of course, and off we go. Now the process starts for Customily to create a new product in your store. It's grabbing the information of Printify from the API, so it's picking up the different sizes and print areas that we selected. It's putting together a nice mockup based on the data, on the information of the product, and inside that print area is putting the design. And at the same time, on the mockup is putting the design we created, and those two things will be the new template. At the same time that you have a new product, that you have the template and you have the options, all that is connected to Printify. So once someone purchases this product, the production file will go straight, automatically go to Printify for fulfillment. At the end of this process, you will see that before you publish the product, you get a final revision in which you can play around with the product. It's saving. You see, it's a 2-minute process, very fast and very easy. So this is the final mockup. We can change this name. I'm going to change this name. We can go to edit product details here and change the name. That's so I better identify this to be one of the live session products. We can change the description, and for the different variants we have here, for the frames and the sizes, we can actually type in the prices we want and the SKUs we want. This is a shortcut that you can do in Customily, but you can do this later on Shopify as well. Now let's play around with this. We have a black for the frame, or you have actually, you see when you check walnut, it's changing. And we want this to play around with some of the images. This image, this, and this. If we want this to be more centered, we can always adjust the images. You see, this is the quote we type in, remember we actually have this written on this text element, and this is the drop down we created. Once we change this, the text, the initial value changes. As simple as that. And then the love is fixed, and this is the part when you put in the signature. And this is the part when you select the background color. I'm going to keep this like that. I'm going to save this as the product image. And you see, apparently I have to review something on the mask. Probably I didn't click to upload that, but it's fixable, trust me. Let's publish this and check out the backend to see how we can fix that. Yeah. So since Customily created a template and you realize, oh, I missed something on my design. So first thing first, go to your design, make sure you fix that because later products will need that. See, I missed one mask and that's my bad. Okay, save it and all done. But we're not going to create the product again. We're going to just change up the template we created. Okay, and very important, you have a template for each one of the sizes because you need the print area, the specific print size for each size. So if you go to templates, you will see that the last page will have the last templates created automatically by Customily. This has the sizes. These are the sizes created last. And you can check that each one of these templates is connected to a particular size variant, so it will load the moment you click on the size. You see it's loading a new template right away. And this one as well. Now, if you want to do a quick change, or you actually want to enhance this because you have a nicer mockup for this, you can just open the template here in Edit and check out how things are working on the final product. Right now, we have these placeholders, and obviously, because I missed this on the design, it show up here. Now it's working. With that quick fix, all is done. But let's do an extra thing. This is a mask that shows the frame and the small drop shadow. But what if we want to change that? We can, of course, upload a new image or just hide this because I just don't want to lose what was created by Printify. Okay, and I can just add a new image with my favorite mockup. I'm going to upload an image, a dynamic image here with this mask. And remember, masks are, and that's created by the POD and sent over to us, but basically it's a nice context with the transparency, a transparent part of the design itself. So I could actually set this to be something like this. You see it's looking better and nicer like that. Since my context is not perfect as the preview, I'm just going to make this a bit bigger, yeah, like this and like this, yeah. Actually, I can center this, it's going to look even better. But whatever file you have that has this presentation with this transparency will look amazing. And you can always lock this new mask and grab your design without changing the print. I'm just going to position this where I feel it's better. That includes the product color. Because I feel this looks better in here with this new context. This is as simple as that. Maybe not the perfect one, but check it out. Now, definitely changed the way we are presenting our product. And some mockups are really cool when they come from the POD. Some others are basic, but you can always change that in Customily without any problem. Why? Because we allow these kind of changes all the time. Let me do a quick revision that you can do anytime and see how it works. Prints like this, previews like this. Always you will get the final result the way you want and the print the way you want. Our Customily automates many things, but you're free to explore new ideas. Okay? And once you change a template, as simple as reloading the product will showcase exactly what you want. Now, since we changed this big product, I believe, which one is the one that we changed? This one. Yeah, you see now this is looking amazingly. And all you need to do is do the same for the other two templates and you're going to be just fine. For the other product, remember the military tag, we already have this product. We are already selling this military tag, but now we have the power to personalize this. We have the machine, we have the POD, and we can actually start selling this. But I have the mockup of this product completely empty, and what I want to do is I want to start offering customization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to my Customily user and create a new template. When I create a new template, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just skip the 2.0 steps and build the template from scratch. Why? Because this is a very specific product that already has I already have on my store. So I'm going to call this the live session that military. And so since I have this product already and I have my machine and I'm ready to start engraving, what do I need to know about my product? I need to know that it's going to be printing, okay, in a specific size that is 40 by 20 millimeters. So that's the size of the print file and the ending print that I need for my tag. It's really small because it's a small product. Then I'm going to add the text boxes of what I'm going to be printing. I'm going to be printing the name, so I'm going to start with one text box. Yeah, this because of the print area, this is really small. So first things I need to do is set up a size that is actually check out this. So it's going to print something like this. Yeah, and then because I want this to cover as much as possible, I'm going to select a font, the font that I want to be printing in this particular product. This is called Stencil, okay? But I cannot see this because the minimum size is too big. Actually, you can check out here that one single letter will have, for this box, a 12.8 point size. So I need to actually go all the way down to 12 to start seeing something. Because I can keep typing and eventually it's going to start shrinking because I may have many options, I'm going to put a small limit of 6 and a big limit of 15. Yeah, so when I start typing, it's keep shrinking as long as I reach the end of the box, but it's going to shrink up until this. So I'm probably going to be able to add couple of extra characters and nothing more. Yeah, that's like that. That's the end of my size. And keep playing around and check out what's looking best. Then I'm going to create another text that is going to be pretty much the same, but it's going to be on below. So I can just Control C to copy and then Control D to put it there. Yeah. But because this is where you usually type dates and ranks when the celebrated the gifted person is actually military, and you want to type in the rank, so you may want to type this in a smaller font. So maybe instead of 15, I'm going to put this 10. Yeah, so it's going to look smaller. Yeah, this is because there's a lot of letters here, but I'm going to just, yeah, so this is going to be bigger, but I think actually it's going to be smaller because I can actually fit something like 7 or so, like that. Yeah, that looks far better. Yeah, and let's see if I type something smaller, like my date. It's nice always to preview how it is going to be presented, how it's going to look, like that. Okay, yeah, I like that. So I have two items. I can actually center them all together and then center them based on the on the print area, just making sure that I can actually be sure not to have them overlapping. That's actually pretty well. Yeah. So in the big size, in both, I should not be able to overlap them. And that seems fair. That's all we need to do for this particular product. We're going to be exporting this in EPS because EPS is probably going to be the engraving format. And we're going to click next. Now we need to present this on the product. Now, if you recall, I have a background image that is the product itself. This is one. This is the final product, but this is the one that I have clean that I need to showcase my customization. Finally, to adjust this to show on the tag, all we need to do is grab both of them and just start playing around and resizing them until they are exactly where we want them. Maybe shrink them a bit because they want to fit here, like that. Yeah, that sounds a bit right. I'm going to type something. I'm going to type something here as well. And strange is this doesn't look like the preview I showed you, basically because we are missing an effect. And the effect is the skew. Now, skew is something like this. You see, when I grab the mouse and I reach here, my pointer changes to a double arrow. But if I hold the Control key, the double arrow actually changes orientation. Yeah, that means that you, instead of stretching this, you can actually skew this and create the effect we are looking for. Yeah, you can input this manually here, or you can just drag until you're comfortable with that. I'm going to type something. Yeah. Then, of course, we may want to realign this because skewing usually moves things around. And now this is more realistic, right? Because we are skewing this to match the perspective of the image. Finally, we're going to type in a new color. Yeah, I think I played with this before, and this was a nice color. Yeah, and the same goes with this. Okay, but we can actually go just a bit further, and those that watch previous live session know what we're talking about. We can add a texture to this, like a brush effect. This looks more like the effect of the engraving machine. Maybe in the small will not show, but if it does, you see it's actually really showing the cool effect. One final revision when we click next before we save. And this is what gets printed. This is what gets showcased. I have one text and text one cloned. I did not rename the labels, so I will rename them on the options set. Okay, let's save this. And once you save a new template, Customily will ask if you want to go to the store area to connect this with a Shopify product. In this area, you can see all your shop products, and you can actually look for the one you want to connect to. You see, I have the original one connected here. That's why you see a check one. But there's another one that is not connected, and I can click here. I can see the listing photo, the name of the product. I can preview that on the store. But I have a couple of options here to connect a template and a set of options. I'm going to choose that template, the last one I created, and I have the option to not create the option set or create the option set automatically. That's really fast. Customily does everything for us, and we can save it and think of it like this is done. And now the same product will load the preview and will load the options. And you can type anything like that. Obviously, this text one and text looks really bad, but this is really easy. Just click here on the option set. You will open the options. We're familiar with this. And just come to the label and change this to type your name. Oh, okay. And limit this to, I don't know, 20 characters. It's always important to limit the characters because customers will keep trying to type and type. Yeah, and this one should be type the date or rank. Again, 20. We save this, and this kind of changes are don't demand any kind of reconnection. You only need to refresh to see the new changes. You can keep asking questions over support@customily.com. You can access the live chat in the app on office hours and join our Facebook communities to exchange information with other users. We have believed this to be a great experience, and I sincerely hope you like this live session today. As always, it was great sharing this with you, and this video will be uploaded shortly today, and you'll be able to review that. Always welcome new ideas for new products, new topics you want to cover. We are always building this with you together. So see you next week, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.